episode of Unstoppable Equestrian. I'm Danielle Pools from Dressage Plus, and today I want to talk to you about pressure and pressures in our riding, in our competition riding and our training riding, and share with you where some of these pressures can come from. And also I want to give you a great mindset exercise that you can use at any time that you're feeling you've put yourself under a little bit too much pressure and you feel it building and I suppose holding you back as you go into a competition. So a lot of riders I work with, they talk about the pressures of competing and the expectations and things like that. And I know a lot of the riders I work with are high achievers and also maybe even a little bit what you'd call perfectionists. And a lot, especially you find this in dressage competition riders. And being a perfectionist and high achiever can be really good qualities. However, at times they can, if we're letting it get to us too much and taking on the perfection into our riding too much, we can then actually, it can flip the other way and end up seeing us riding under pressure and riding with tension and stress in our body. And this obviously isn't a good thing for our training and our competition riding. So it's about finding that happy medium and finding the tools to help you get to that happy medium. So when we talk about pressure and where it comes from, a lot of the time people can feel that it's from an outside source. So from a family member, a parent, or a coach, or even peers, and sometimes if you're in the horse industry, from clients as well. We can feel that we've got under pressure to perform and get certain results. And what's really important to notice is, or I suppose acknowledge, is that when it's from an outside source, we're the only one that can control that level of pressure that we bring on ourselves and let come into our world. So that's really good to know, that we, even though maybe it's pressure from an outside source trying to get us to perform better or something like that, maybe even a sponsor, we feel pressure from a sponsor, it really is only us that control how much pressure we let come into our world. So once you kind of, I suppose, recognize that, then you can do something about it, which is great. And you can choose not to take on that pressure and use certain techniques to help, I suppose, let go of some of that pressure as well. And the other and most common type of pressure that we feel within our riding is the pressure we put on ourselves. And especially being high achievers and perfectionists and just putting so much into our riding, we can tend to put quite a lot of pressure on ourselves, and it can just blow over and turn into a bit of a disaster if we do this leading up to a competition, put too much stress on ourselves and our horse, and it just doesn't generally work in our favour. So the great thing is, once you find some ways to deal with this pressure, and I suppose pressure really is just our mind playing tricks on us, so we can find some exercises to kind of flip that trick around and play tricks back on our mind to take that pressure off ourselves. So one technique I want to share with you today, and it's all about I suppose controlling what you're focusing on and how you're looking at life as a big picture as a whole, is thinking about an event that you've got coming up, a competition coming up, and if you're feeling too much pressure going into that event and you start to notice the nerves creeping in and the expectations are building, either from yourself or from outside pressures, outside people, then I want you to think about your life as a big whole, as a whole picture. So let's just say, for example, you can ride into your 60s and even compete into your 60s and higher, older if you want. And so that means potentially, depending on where you are in your life and what age you start riding, potentially you could have 40, 50 years in the saddle riding. And that's a long time to be riding. And over that time, you're going to have hundreds of competitions to go to, hundreds of outings. And sometimes we get fixated on this one competition coming up because it's in front of us, and it may be a big competition for the year, it may not be. We just put so much pressure to perform and get a certain result, and we tend to forget about the big picture and riding as a whole, and that even this competition, it might be the big, like the nationals or the big comp for the year, but in the terms of 40, 50 years of riding, you're going to have a lot more opportunities to perform. So just by taking some pressure off yourself and reminding yourself it's okay, I've got more time up my sleeve, and I can go to more competitions and practice more, and seeing them all as a training day so that you go in relaxed and focused and able to use your brain and ride, actually like ride when you're in the arena, rather than focusing on feeling under pressure and stressed, like you've got to make everything perfect. And it's not about taking the shine off competing, and it's not about downplaying what you're out there doing and all the effort and time you're putting into it, but it is about making sure your mind's in the right spot. So if you need to downplay a competition at this particular time in your life, then that's fine to do that. Excuse me. That's fine to do that. You can downplay the competition so that you can go in on the day and ride how you need to ride. And as you get better at controlling those pressures and controlling your state at a competition, you might not need to downplay that competition as much. So that's really cool as well. But yeah, just really thinking, if you're feeling overwhelmed or nervous, too much pressure going into a competition, just stop and think, as a whole, as a big picture in my life, is this competition really worth getting this nervous about? Like, I will have other opportunities, and in terms of all the other things going on in your life, family, loved ones, other adventures and holidays and careers and things like that, generally there's other things in life than riding. So playing that kind of mind game on yourself and taking some pressure off and just able to relax and enjoy the event rather than feeling too overwhelmed and stressed about it. So I hope that's given you a little bit of a different perspective on how to deal with future pressures in your riding. And I look forward to seeing you next week. So have a great week, guys, and I'll see you then. Bye.